Welcome to Game of Roses. This is PaceCase.
This is Bachelor Clues, freshly returned from a mini move to Clout Town.
Clout Clues.
Yeah, I was bathed in the clout. We'll be getting into that in our State of the Game. I can explain exactly what I'm talking about. Do we have any business to get to, PaceCase, before we begin this week in Bachelor Nation?
Well, Clues, we've got a new Digging Deeper next week. No.
Just came out today as we're recording. Yeah.
Yes, of course. It came out today.
Which would have been yesterday if you're listening to this on Tuesday, which hopefully you are. But we're recording it on Monday.
My computer says it's Friday, May 2nd. So I don't know why.
Your computer's having problems, PaceCase. I don't know how else to say it to you. I think you need to go to the Apple Genius Bar and see what's happening.
I'm connected to the internet. Why does it not know that it's not Friday?
Yeah, your computer is having time loss issues. That's not good.
Today we are recording on Monday, May 5th, though. Yeah. For context.
It's missing some days.
Maybe your computer was Bachelor Nation.
Abducted by an alien craft. That happens. Time loss is a common experience among abductees.
Well, Clues and I both went on mini moves this weekend, so we are caffeinated and ready to go. I feel like I've been gone for 6 months. So
yeah, I'm definitely out of it. I got almost no sleep in Clout Town. Mini moves are always hard on me.
City
if the
that
beds
never
are not
sleep.
comfortable. What's that?
Clout Town, famously, the city that never sleeps.
You know what was funny? The do not disturb sign, the consummation confirmation that I had in my room. It said no need for service. I didn't get any sleep last night. The city kept me awake. And indeed, that is what happened to me 2 nights in a row there.
That is an aggressive do not disturb sign.
I saw that. I was like, Jesus Christ. They really know that their hotel rooms are not comfortable at this hotel.
I always like the paradise no molestar signs.
Yeah, indeed. We can all learn from that.
Well, let's do this podcast either in real life or in a dream. Perhaps we're both asleep right now.
I did a song called Awaken My Dreams on my first solo album that was not Bachelor themed. It's all about that.
I like when they're Bachelor themed.
Okay, let's just get into it. This is
Game of Roses. State of the Game.
So, speaking of my album, it was played for a room full of people to some degree at the end of my little presentation. If you've been listening to this podcast for any amount of time, you probably know I've been talking about me going to DePaul to give a presentation on The Bachelor as a sport. I was one of the keynote speakers at the DePaul Pop Culture Conference this past weekend. I have to give major thanks to Doctors Paul Booth and Adrian Stoner for putting on this event, for inviting me to this event. It was beyond my wildest expectations. One expectation I had was, or I should say question really that I had was, is this presentation I'm making going to actually be an hour long? I didn't really do a run through of it. I just kind of mapped it out in my head, made some bullet points, put together my PowerPoint that I was going to use as an additional kind of video and graphic element to this.
Based on our book, I would be afraid it would then be 10 hours.
No, I felt like I had it in my head pretty patterned out. And I was like, how many times have we done a roughly hour-long podcast episode?
Yeah.
Hundreds of times. And I was like, I think I kind of know the rhythm of it and how it should go. The first time ever delivering this presentation, again, with no formal practice of it, with no actual saying out loud or running through, 57 minutes.
Dang, Clue.
Yeah, it was great.
That's perfect.
So that I considered a success. It was not drastically
3 minutes
under
for
or
questions.
overtime. What's that? Yeah, exactly.
3 minutes for questions.
Yes, and it was my apologies. There were a lot of questions there. I only had time to answer like 2 of them at the very end. All that said, let me just describe the event itself. It was an all day kind of like 8 a.m. to roughly 5 or 6 at night, I think. Panels and keynote speakers all about reality television of all kinds of different things. There were academic presentations about one of them that I found very interesting. It was a linguistics major talking about the language of Love Island, all the different isms and stuff that they use, and how some of these words have meanings outside the game. Some of them are only in-game things, like inside joke type things. I love
that.
And how it's changing the language of reality TV at large, and therefore the populations who watch those shows. That reality TV is actually very influential in crafting, the movements of language and stuff. That was fascinating.
I don't like how you move like that.
Yeah, exactly. It was grafting was talked about a lot. Mug off was talked about a lot, and how like these phrases mean things outside the game, but they have a slightly different meaning or connotation at the very least inside the game. And then it takes on like a meaning unto itself almost. At any rate, there were presentations about that, about representation in various shows, all kinds of stuff. And there were some great keynotes. Emily Nussbaum was there, who wrote Q the Sun. I got to meet and talk with her. A fascinating person. And I read her book on the plane. I highly recommend anybody out there read this. If you want to know about the history of reality TV, I've never seen it done in such a way. It is everything from candid camera to basically where we are now. And every chapter is kind of about one show and how it came to be, who created it, how the networks put it on, what the critical reception was, what the general reception
fired
was.
From the show then for racism.
The Bachelor chapter doesn't get into that exactly. Not in any in-depth way. It's more about how the show was started and kind of what it meant in that early 2000 second wave boom. But her
title?
book it's called Q the Sun, which is a line from The Truman Show, which is kind of it's a metaphor that's used all through the book, basically, is like, is reality TV good or bad? And she doesn't really make a judgment on that. It's more of a presentation of like, here are the shows, here's how they evolved and what show led to what other show and whatever. But she's a fantastic writer. That book's amazing. It's like easily the best history of reality TV thing that has ever been written, in my opinion, that I'm aware of anyway. Got to meet Nick Thompson. He was there finally in the flesh. Gore Girl Nick Thompson. We talked about everything that's going on with their case with the National Labor Relations Board in Minnesota.
Updates?
Well, because of Trump, the case has been moved. It has been postponed. So that ain't good, but it actually may be good, I think, in the long run, to give him more time to get more people to come to his side, get more ammo in that case. So it may seem bad, and I guess at face value it is, just in a general kind of decay of America way. But I think ultimately...
a lot of that happening.
I would just say, generally speaking, anytime you're preparing for something like that, like a legal case or a presentation, the more time you have, the better off you are, because it allows you to, just basically make your shit tighter. So hopefully that'll help. All that said, let me speak about the presentation itself.
Yeah.
So my hour-long presentation was called Bachelor is a Sport. And I basically just laid out all the stuff that we talk about on our show, from the kind of rules dynamics of it to the 4TRR being the primary foundational rule, to the different kinds of plays you can make, and Hoojus and tier play and IFIs and PTCs, all this stuff. And I would have clips from the show, all historical clips from various seasons throughout the history of the show, to kind of illustrate, like, this is what I'm talking about. This is an IFI. And then I played in that case 2 clips, both Tiara Lakazi from season 17 of her falling down the stairs and then doing the shivering hypothermia polar bear plunge.
Iconic.
Yeah. And it was great. I think people enjoyed the thing. It was kind of a hot room, so people were like fanning themselves and sweating and whatever. But I think people enjoyed it. And the thing I enjoyed the most about it was I was blown away by how many people were there that are in the pit. I thought this was going to be a room full of students of DePaul, general interest academics of, pop culture or whatever. I would say probably half of this room, which maybe seated 100 people, maybe more, were not only there for Gore, but decked out head to toe in Gore paraphernalia, including the most Chicago clout merch I have ever seen in one place. So many clout t-shirts, hats. There was a little contingent of people who had brought, like little cardboard sticks with picture, like faces cut out of Dark Lord Palmer with red laser eyes. And they were like holding those up during the presentation from time to time. It was amazing.
WWE.
Yeah. I saw a bunch of like old school Gore merch, Do You Hooju t-shirts, Sauce Wars t-shirts. It was just absolutely
Sour
amazing.
grapes?
What's that?
When I was a bachelor, sour grapes?
Saw one of those, yes. Saw a sour grapes.
Oh my God. You had it all.
Had an LA Icons shirt there.
Dang. I do notice you are in your pit sweatshirt right now, feeling
I
very
like this sweatshirt.
patriotic.
This isn't even on purpose. I just like this sweatshirt. It's comfortable. I will never not have this sweatshirt. All that said, I finished my presentation and I wanted to kind of stay in that room because I think it was Nick Thompson was going to give a little presentation next, and I wanted to watch what he was going to say. Unfortunately, or in this case, fortunately, there were so many people that wanted me to sign books, take pictures, etc. They had to set up a little table out in the lobby for me to do this. And there was a line of people akin to like when you and I were at Skylight Books, there to have things signed and whatever.
Wow. We signed faces at Skylight.
I did not sign a face. I signed a few shirts though. But I just want to thank everybody who came out to this also. All the people in the pit with us that showed up in their clout merch and, took pictures with me and waited in that line and, suffered through the heat of that room because it was kind of uncomfortable. I got Topo Chico given to me as presents from certain people. It was unbelievable. And I am like,
you have become a Topo sponsor somehow.
I know.
They're sponsoring you indirectly.
Yeah, people are buying Topo Chico to give to me at these events. But I have to say, it's every time we do something like this where we are in the public engaging with people who listen to our podcasts, when it's just you and me on this Zoom link right now talking about time. Whatever.
Yeah.
This is like 99% of what we do. And it is very easy, I think, to forget how many people actually share these views with us, find what we say to be entertaining or funny in some way. And whenever I go out into the world and there are all these people show up, I'm just reminded like, oh, fuck yeah. People are down with this. And that is just like such a great feeling. So I can't thank everybody enough who came out. It was really incredible. And maybe the highlight of the entire weekend was Dr. Stoner put on a Hooju competition for which I was the only judge. So there were 4 couples who hoojued each other an inch away from me in this big classroom with an audience watching in the heat. And I judged them based on their approach, mount, cling, and dismount.
Yeah.
And there was a pretty clear winner. It was this couple that the anchor, the guy of the couple, I don't know how tall this man was. Let's say 8 feet. And his paramour, I believe they were married. I think it was his wife, displayed a level of athleticism that I don't think I have seen maybe ever, even in The Bachelor. This woman jumped basically up to his chest, double ankle lock around the back. The cling was amazing, raining down kisses, maintained physical touch all through the dismount. It was incredible.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was absolutely
That's amazing.
And so they won a can of Topo Chico.
Thank you, Pitt, for coming out and supporting Clues. They won a can of Topo.
Yeah. That's the only prizes I had on me.
I am so happy that it went well. I know how you hate mini moves, and I'm glad that it worked out. Yeah. And I'm like, it makes me want to do more like, whatever you call it, events.
Yeah, in the world type things.
In the world, because I do forget that I'm not just talking to you constantly. And then sometimes people will bring up stuff with me and I'm like, well, I just said that to my friend Chad. No, I said it on a platform, didn't I?
Yes, exactly. I had a bunch of people telling me, that like Gore was the reason they formed watch parties, or, there were a bunch of guys there that were kind of like dragged along by their significant others. And they all were like, you know what? There was one guy, I'll say this. There were a couple of guys who were like, I didn't really watch The Bachelor, but then I heard my girlfriend or wife or whatever listening to your podcast, and that kind of got me into it. That was the entryway. Now I love it. There was one guy there who came up to me after the thing and said, I don't watch The Bachelor. I'm just here with my girlfriend for this pop culture thing. I watched your presentation. I'm going to watch The Bachelor now. So I did a drag.
Won him over.
I dragged him into the goddamn pit just from a presentation.
What were the ages? What was like the age range of this? Was it mostly like student age or was it all over?
Yeah, I would say it was mostly like maybe early 30s is kind of the top end of it. I think. I don't know. I mean, I didn't ask anybody their ages, but yeah. Excuse me, how old are you? Will you sign my book? How old are you? Yeah, I would say it was mainly student age into like early 30s is what I gleaned from it. I could be completely wrong. Certainly I felt
young minds.
Yeah, young minds indeed. I did feel very much like not a professor. I don't feel like I am qualified on that level, but giving that presentation in front of that class, I was like, could I be a college professor? Could I do this?
Yes, you could. What were you wearing?
Just standard, black jeans, black t-shirt, black.
I wish you had worn a blazer and glasses.
And a pipe. I should have had a
monocle.
Pipe.
Yeah.
Maybe a monocle. Is that what professors wear these days?
In my mind, like you would be a professor with a monocle.
I do have a pair of glasses now. Have you ever seen me in my glasses?
I don't think so.
Are
they accessible?
Yeah. I keep them back here in my books because that's what
I need
them
reading?
for. Yes.
Okay.
I can't. Shit that's like close up is just blurry as hell to me now. This is what I would look like as a professor. What do you think?
I think, are those Google glasses?
Google
what? Glasses?
No, they're just regular glasses.
I think that's more professorial. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't keep them on though, because if I'm looking at you in this, it's like fucking making me dizzy.
Oh God.
And they're only for reading, really.
Delicate clues.
I am. My eyes are delicate machines. But again,
I'm supposed to be wearing glasses when I drive at night, but my paramour crushed my glasses, and that now it requires a new eye appointment. And
yeah, but you got to do it. You can't be driving at night without proper eyewear if you're needed. I
just have to know where I'm going. I just can't read like a street sign,
Oh my gosh. Good luck.
I'm not driving at night.
Shit.
I work at home. I'm not doing shit.
All right.
Well, I'm so happy it went well.
Yeah, it was great. A great time.
It's great to see the pit is alive and well, thriving. I feel like I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but I'm optimistic. I was feeling a little bit like, the Bachelor franchise is dying. Maybe when you were going to write when your presentation was going to be called The Bachelor's Dead. That might have influenced it, but I'm feeling optimistic. This and some VIP promo that we're going to get into.
Yeah.
I'm feeling excited.
I am too. I mean, it really rejuvenated my my faith in like The Bachelor as a game that can produce this subculture of fandom that is like not going anywhere. And I don't know what the future will hold. I mean, like you said, we're going to talk about some VIP stuff that happened this week in terms of how they're promoting it, that I think is a massive good sign. Who knows? We don't know. But I will say the appetite for The Bachelor, at least as presented to me from the people who showed up to this, is like, it's as thriving as it ever was.
I'm excited.
Me too. But again, thank you so much to DePaul. Thank you so much to Dr. Adrian Stoner, Dr. Paul Booth for having me out there for really an incredible experience. I would do this again every year, whenever they do it. Honestly, it was great.
Hopefully no more of my siblings will get married during it. There's only one left. I feel like it's hard for that to line up again.
You never know. Don't tempt the universe. But that is our state of the game. DePaul had an incredible event. Bachelor Nation is alive and well, especially the Chicago Clout. So I've just never seen, literally, I've never seen a Chicago Clout shirt in person ever.
Me either.
I saw a dozen or more of them.
If only Grocery Store had showed up.
I know. I wanted Grocery to be there so bad. What's the Chicago Clout thing you're talking about? We're going to be talking about Grocery and news, by the way.
Ooh.
Serenior has some news. So by extension, Grocery does as well.
Okay.
Yes. that said, let's move on to the next portion of our program where we discuss what we're watching in the off season when there is no Bachelor on our television screens. This is...
What are you watching?
What are you watching? So in preparation for BIP and Scott Teddy as our new showrunner, / because it's one of my favorite shows of all time that I've always been watching, I have caught up on Summer House finally.
Oh, nice.
And I'm now watching it through a very different lens.
Yeah.
You know, it used to be just a pleasure binge, but now I'm like, okay, what are the specific like ways in which they're shooting this? How is it different from BIP? What could carry over? And I was like, I think I've talked about this before, but I hope they do something that they do on a lot of the Bravo shows, which is incorporate flashbacks for like comedic purposes a lot.
Yeah.
One of the women who's been on the show since the beginning, Lindsay, is now very pregnant in the house. Like the show was about like young 20-somethings partying. They still are trying to bring in some younger partiers, but there's just such a age range now. And they flash back to this like, just one of the most iconic things of her character, which is that she made this timeline, like wrote out a timeline, like I'm going to get engaged to this person in this month, and I'm going to get pregnant in this month, and I'm going to freeze my eggs and with like a person that was like 5 boyfriends ago or whatever. Yeah. And like, they just like always, she's like, and you guys always cut back to it. And they cut back to it as she's saying it. I was like, I love this. There's also the element of like, they're constantly having these like gigantic frat parties, like almost every weekend on the show. And I'm like, it just seems so fun. And I'm hoping that element is there, as well as no one being a villain, really. Like, there's definitely like you go up and down of how you feel about the characters, but there's nothing like the villainy, nothing like Sally and her suitcase on Summer House. The other show that I started to get into is Love on the Spectrum season 3.
How are you liking it?
Obsessed.
Yeah.
I knew when we recapped the Madison Parasocial plays that like I felt a kinship with her, and I feel even more so having watched it.
Yeah. Who's your favorite American Girl doll?
Well, I only had Molly, the nerd with glasses, but I had Magic Attic Club dolls as well.
Yeah.
Keisha.
Did you see the episode where the guy she's dating gives her an American Girl present?
No, I've only watched maybe the first one or two.
That moment is you're gonna really like it. It's so funny.
I can't wait. The way that she like is obsessed with color too, I really relate to. And I'm like, it's fine to have childhood hobbies as an adult. Is like,
what are you talking about?
What?
As I immediately behind me, it's obscured by me and sitting. Well, here, I'll just show you.
What is that?
These?
What? Is that books?
No, these are. Each one of these is a collector's box of Magic the Gathering cards. This is from Dragons of Tarkir Dragonstorm.
Yeah.
Just part of my collection.
I don't know where my Pokeball pinata was, but that was hanging behind me from my most recent birthday.
I agree. I love shit like that. There's just, I don't know. It's fun to be, I mean, look, truth be told.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could be on that show, but I don't know if it would be so far-fetched that I could be on that show. You know what I mean?
Yes, I know exactly what you mean.
I've experienced a little Love on the Spectrum myself. And so I get the hyper-focusing that all of them talk about being able to do or whatever, and the obscure collections, the strange indulgences. I get it, and I do it, and I love it. It's
definitely like there are certain moments where I'm like, I think overall the show is very like positive for the community and like trying to give everyone a hero edit. But I just watched the speed dating round.
Oh yeah,
with the long blonde haired man, and I just felt so terrible. And I was like, really? I don't know.
Don't feel too bad for that guy. That dude's
okay.
He's doing fine. That guy's a huge social media celebrity. You'll see by the end of the season.
Okay.
He's doing fine.
That's just what I needed to hear from you. Yeah. No spoilers, but I just want to make sure that he's okay.
This show, I think that one was tough. Most of the people on the show.
Yawning. Stop yawning.
Yeah. That guy loved that dude. Most of the people who are on this show have exploded in social media followers, and they're like celebrities to some degree. And, some of them are together like, God, what is her? Is it Abby? No, it's not a spoiler. They were together in like 2 seasons ago.
The couple that do the anniversary?
Yeah, the couple that do the anniversary.
Anon?
No, not them.
Oh.
The couple that last season went on a African safari and they sing songs to each other and stuff all the time. Abby and David, I think, are their names. They do like joint social media stuff constantly. And she has a very funny line later in the season. Or no, this wasn't even later in the season. This is on a podcast that she went on where they're like, do you like all the attention you're getting from the show? And she's like, yes, I like being famous because I like making money.
That sounds like you.
Look, it's all fine. Anyways,
I love that. Yeah, there's just like the honesty of it is just like it's so I love that show. And it's Me too. It feels very wholesome and I'm enjoying it. And I also, speaking of childhood hobbies, I've taken a break from Sunhaven and now I'm playing Fae Farm, which is another farming game suggested by someone, and I'm deep in that.
Yeah.
I have been playing a lot.
Interesting.
Highly
Tell Jake
recommend.
I started playing
Switch.
Claire Obscure.
Okay.
That game is so fucking good.
He's doing Expedition 33, which is like, looks really beautiful.
Yeah, that's the game.
Very sad premise. Oh.
Claire Obscure Expedition 33 is the game.
Oh, that's the full title. Gotcha. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that game looks so cool.
It's unbelievable. It will be a movie or a TV show within a year, 100%, because the premise is so good. Yeah. And it's like video games don't usually go that deep into like building the story of a premise. The premise, by the way, is all these people live on this island that every year they look out into this cove and they see this giant mountain has a number on it. And the game starts, the number's a 34. And this creature called the Paintress emerges from this cove, puts her hand on the number, and the number drops down one. It goes to 33. And so then everybody who is 34 years old dematerializes into like rose puddles. They just dissipate. And so every year, then it started at 100. The number has gone down every year. And every year, some people...
Everyone's lifespan gets shorter.
Yeah, everybody's lifespan gets shorter by a year. And so every year, some people agree that they will volunteer to go on an expedition to that cove and try to figure out what the fuck's going on and
defeat it,
stop it, whatever. And so far, every expedition that has gone out has never come back. And so you are part of Expedition 33.
It's so good. And like I've started just like watching it when he's like watching like the story inserts and stuff, because it's just like it's I love a dystopian sci-fi thing. It's really
it's great
good and sad.
Somebody will string together all the cutscenes, I would say within probably a month or so, and you can watch that as a movie on YouTube. Speaking of what we're watching though,
what are you watching?
We just completed the full season 5, everything. There's a movie now that we have yet to watch, but we completed everything to the end of the TV portion of The Last Kingdom.
Oh no.
It is heartbreaking. Okay? No, it's terrible. I love Uhtred. I am Uhtred, son of Uhtred, rightful heir to Bebbanburg. I will take back my lands and make this place a free place for Danes and Saxons to live in peace side by side. I love this show. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. I encourage everybody to watch it. And I'm very sad that it's over.
Netflix?
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
I'm sad it's over. Did you feel, no spoilers, but did you feel like satisfied with the end?
100%.
That's great.
It's like, it's so well done. It feels like they wanted to do it in 5 seasons. It feels like the story wrapped up like they wanted to do it. It feels like everything was built correctly and the Netflix allowed them to get where they wanted to go. I don't know what the fuck this movie is. I mean, I have some idea of what it probably will be, but it's like, I don't think it's that necessary, honestly.
Yeah.
They wrapped it up pretty perfectly.
Huh. Well, that's great.
I'll watch it though, obviously, just because I want to see the actor again and those characters.
Oh.
I need to see Uhtred on a daily basis or I do not feel okay.
I know how you feel.
They kill
Things
off.
have been done to me by The Last of Us.
Fuck that show. I'll tell you what I'm not watching ever again is that fucking show.
Sorry.
You fucked it up. I will say this also about Last Kingdom. They do a fantastic job of killing characters. Some shows do, I mean, as we know, Last of Us don't do it well at all. Maybe the worst we've ever seen in the history of all television.
I hate them.
I do too. They just fucked it up. Last of Us doesn't. Last of Us kills at a pretty good clip and like important characters.
Last Kingdom,
yeah. And it'll have you feeling some type of way every time it fucking happens. And they kill good guys and bad guys. And it's like, again, every time you're just like, fuck, even when some of the villains get killed, you're like, oh, you kind of like feel bad for them and the killing and the methodology or whatever. But they do it at a proper clip and they do it like they just,
and they don't kill Uhtred, I think is probably the important part.
Yeah, spoiler alert. I am Uhtred of Pepin, but I will not be killed in all 5 seasons of this show. They can't do that. The whole show is Uhtred.
Yeah, exactly, Craig Mazin. Look, I listened to your podcast, Script Notes.
Yeah, you listen to
but
his
I will
thing
never
where he tried
listen
to defend it.
I will never listen to it again. I'm so upset.
Yeah.
But we are continuing to cover it on HBO Lax, Patreon only right now. Patreon.com/HBO Lax.
That seems like a hate watch just out of the gate at this point.
We'll see.
All right. Well, that's what we're watching. We hope you will join us in watching some of these programs. And we hope you'll join us in Casa Gore, patreon.com/Game of Roses. We're going to be watching the Sand Beasts season of Bachelorette, season 15, Hannah Brown, coming up in Casa Gore. As soon as we finish Battle Camp, which I believe will be tomorrow, we might finish that up. And then we're going to start in on Hannah Brown season because I know we're not in season of a Bachelorette right now. We should be. It feels like we should be, but there ain't no Bachelorette
season.
Yeah.
So what are we going to do? We are going to have a Bachelorette every Monday. You're going to have one.
Yeah, every Monday night on our Patreon, you can watch an episode of Hannah Brown season in order with us and relive. I've honestly, in cutting the clips for that DePaul thing, I've watched a lot of the season already, rewatched it. Right. And it's just like, and not even because I was like, I know where all the clips are. It takes me about 20 seconds to find a clip in my hard drive of episodes and shit. It's because I would find the clip and then I'd be like, well, let me just watch the scene after this. And then I would just keep fucking watching like a whole episode. I couldn't help it. It's so goddamn good.
I got so excited just from Hannah's get ready with me for her outfit she's wearing in BIP. I was just like, oh, I'm so excited.
She is riveting.
She's
and there's
electric.
so much weird shit in that season. Luke Parker taking her to that church thing where he had everybody like laying hands on him. Yes, I rewatched that.
Okay, I'm so excited.
There's so much crazy shit in it. I rewatched that for
Tyler Cameron's entire Bachelor history.
His opening,
except
where
for
he does that dance.
one date where he and Matt James pranked Katie Thurston.
Yeah.
I think that's the only other time he's been on the show.
Some deep history. All right, let's move on. That's what we're watching. Again, we hope you will join us at patreon.com/Game of Roses to watch that Hannah Brown season. Now, let's move on to all the tids that are fit to print.
This is Bachelor Nation News.
Up first in Bachelor Nation news, the return to sand is almost upon us, and now we have an official premiere date and location for Bachelor in Paradise Season 10. The first Scott Teddy helm season of the Bachelor All-Star Game is currently shooting in Costa Rica instead of Mexico, where every prior season has taken place, and it will premiere on ABC on Monday, July 7th at 8 p.m., and we will be seeing it streaming later on Hulu.
Dark Lord Jesse Palmer will be returning to be the hosting overlord, while Mr. Sarah Hyland, Wells Adams, will be reprising his role as smug bartender. LOL. But he will have to up his game if he wants to maintain relevance on sand, as this season he will be standing shoulder to shoulder with the sand beast herself, the Hannah Brown, who will render underlording duties with Adams.
The season will also feature some all-star play from some of the Golden players from both Golden Bachelor Season 1 and Golden Bachelorette Season 1. Golden players Gary Levinston and Leslie Fema have been confirmed, and regular players Zoe McGrady, Hakeem Moulton, and Jonathan Johnson have also been confirmed. We're anxiously awaiting the full cast list, but there are some unconfirmed rumors floating around that we might be seeing Kat Izzo, Sam McKinney, Parisa Shifta, Bailey Brown, and Tanner Cortad on sand.
Sam McKinney.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what that man does on sand.
Absolutely looking very forward to that. I think that these changes are good. The Costa Rica thing, I think, is good. And the thing that in this little news piece that I'm most excited about is it's premiering on Monday. So that means it's coming back to Mondays. Hopefully they won't do this Tuesday, Thursday weird shit. And that's a very good sign in terms of ABC's investment in this franchise. Mm-hmm. They are willing to program this back to Monday nights to say Bachelor is Monday night or Monday night is Bachelor night, however you want to look at it.
Schedule your viewing parties. We're not going to mess with you again.
Hopefully. This seems like a very good sign to me. All of these things, and we're about to get to another piece of news that's also a very good sign, but it just seems like they are putting the support behind this. They are understanding that there are viewing patterns well established in the fandom of this show, and they are adhering to those patterns. I think it's good, all of this.
Up next in Bachelor Nation news, more Paradise news. It seems that ABC has upped its promotion game for the upcoming season 10 of Bachelor in Paradise by flying out a group of influencers and people in the world of Bachelor coverage to make social media about the location and get interviews with players and hosts. One of the Bachelor podcast hosts at K York City is among the influencers currently in Costa Rica on ABC's dime. And she recently made a TikTok explaining that she and the other invitees will not appear in the show itself, but instead are there to document the field of play and interact with some of the players. K York City is joined by Bran Flakes, 1.2 million on TikTok, Louis Levanti, 2.4 million on TikTok, Lauren Ashley Beck, 539.8K on TikTok, and Us Weekly's Sarah Heron, among others.
This marks a decided shift from ABC's hardcore anti-social media promotion policy the show has suffered from in the past, and hints that perhaps the network is open to new methods of promotion for the show. While we don't know where this idea to include outside journalists and influencers in the promotion of the season comes from, it seems likely that Scott Teddy had something to do with it, at least to me. Whoever had the idea, it's great, and we here at Gore are looking very forward to our official invitation to cover BIP Season 11.
We're ready. Just like Nick Thompson's lawsuit. It'll just give us more time to prepare for our invitation.
I mean, looking at some of these numbers, though, K York City is kind of up there too.
We gotta get some TikTok numbers going.
These Bran Flakes and Louis Levanti are like over 1 million TikTok followers. I don't know. we gotta up our game. But Sarah Heron's
Follow
there.
us on TikTok, everyone.
Sarah Heron has like 1,000 followers on TikTok. That
I know,
said,
but she works for Us Weekly.
Yeah, she's part of the corporate machine. But I think this is a great sign. It's like these influencers might be. They're being paid, obviously, to be there. At least their flight and stuff is covered. Like they're getting a free trip there. And I think all of these people are like in the business of just kind of like general promotion of media and entertainment and whatever. They're kind of like the new version of Entertainment Tonight or something. Mm-hmm. So I don't think that the ABC feels any risk that these people would come there and say nasty shit about BIP, because I don't think they cover stuff objectively, really. But that said, the door is open for that type of thing to happen. The fact that they understand that having these influencers cover even before the series comes out, just like in anticipation of it being shot. They're there while it's being shot. The fact that somebody now at ABC, maybe through the hand of Scott Teddy, understands this is how you promote the show is fucking amazing. And they better be doing this for every season of every Bachelor product.
I agree.
And like I said, we're ready.
We will do a great job of it next year. I think that'll be enough time for Clues to recover before his next mini move.
Yeah, for real. It did take its physical toll on me. I judged a fucking Hooju competition. You don't think I can do that in The Bachelor? 100% I can. Put me
You are the
coach.
only judge who should be there. Maybe you and DLP, but that's it.
I think it should be me, and I want
Kelsey Weir.
I want Ryan Lochte because I think he's funny and he's an Olympian. He understands judging. He understands Olympic type shit. Kelsey Weir, yes. And I want Serena. Serena did a fucking great Hooju on Matt James' season. And she Hooju'd.
She did.
I think the tallest anchor in Bachelor history. Wasn't he the tallest guy? 6'5", maybe he tied with somebody else. Grant Ellis is probably up there too. I could put together a good like celebrity and legacy Bachelor player, little mini panel of 2 to 3 people. Of course, you'll have DLP there.
Mm-hmm.
And I
maybe
want
start
Wells
wearing
Adams
your glasses more.
Ooh.
Maybe that'll help.
Okay, I will.
For the respectability.
Well, you know what we should do? We should make a how-to Hooju video where we go out in the park and we get some people to Hooju and I break it all down. We'll put that on the internet. Let that get us 1 million TikTok followers. Then maybe they'll invite me.
Look, we need some ringers to do this because I've only attempted one Hooju in my life and it was on sand. So I think the degree of difficulty was really hard, but it was extremely difficult.
I'm telling you.
You have to be athletic.
Yes. I watched these 4 couples do these Hoojus and they were all pretty good. I have to say they all had like skill. It was like funny and whatever, but they were all adhering to like the 4 components of the Hooju very well. They were putting in strong effort. It was just like this one couple, they were just super athletic. I don't know how else to describe it. And when you're that close to it, watching it, you're like, oh no, I know this is kind of jokey or whatever, but like they legitimately have to be high level athletes that can do some physical shit in order to render a good Hooju.
I know who you should get on the panel of judges, Simone Biles.
Yep. Wait, isn't she friends with Bailey Brown? No, it was Coco Gauff, I think.
But she is friends with Becca Kufrin. That's your in. Mm-hmm.
So we get the Tropical Royale. We get her best friend, Simone Biles.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Get that little baby there too. Little body trash can.
Little body's first steps are a Hooju.
Yeah.
All right.
No, we already saw Little Body's first steps. They were with Simone Biles.
Yeah. God damn.
Allegedly.
Maybe she'd do it. Up next in Bachelor Nation news, Mrs. Grocery Store, a.k.a. Serena Pitt, has received her U.S. green card just in time for the end of America. Serena was originally a member of the Canadian North, but currently plays for the New York City Influence with her sauce monster grocery store, Joe Amabile. Amabile? How do you say his last name? I never know.
That sounds right.
Amabile.
Last week, Serena shared on social media that her green card interview didn't go as planned because she was missing a necessary document. So she flew back to the Big Apple, got the doc, and went back to Montreal for another interview at the U.S. consulate.
And this week, Serena shared the exciting news that her green card has been approved. As she prepared for the interview, Serena said, "Second time's the charm. I know the length of this process can be a little bit different for everyone. I've got some of my grandmother's jewelry on for good luck, and I have my very big binder, and it has everything that I need in it." Essentially, what this interview is for is to verify all the documentation that I submitted online and to ensure that my marriage is legitimate and that we got married for all the right reasons, as ironic as that is.
It's just a link to the podcast. Then a few hours later, Serena posted a photo smiling with her binder captioned, all caps, approved, checkmark emoji. After 2.5 years and many bumps along the way, this morning my U.S. green card application was approved at my interview in Montreal. Anyone who has been through this process knows how draining and defeating it can be at times, but we finally made it. Congrats to Serena on this next step of her life as a legal resident of our crumbling country.
I just had to get a couple things in there.
Yeah, get them. Get them.
Next up in Bachelor Nation news, season 11 Bachelorette and haver of sex before the fantasy suites, Caitlin Bristow announced that she will be rewatching her season of The Bachelorette on her podcast, Off the Vine.
On an Instagram reel, the one true goat Gore Girl claimed that she has never watched the entire season all the way through, and she does not know how she will feel about it now that her season is 10 years old. And Bristow added that she will not be doing this alone.
We don't have any confirmation on who the secret guest watchers will be with Bristow outside a brief moment in the Instagram reel when Chris Harrison's head pops up at the bottom. Will the Dark Lord emerge from his shadowy hiding place to lay eyes on Bristow's old season? Will the Great One himself render a slow judgment on his performance in her season? Time will tell, but we're excited to see what Bristow puts together for this unique watch back experience.
There's no way your Great One is doing this not on his own Patreon.
You know, some of the clips that she has in that Instagram reel from her season to kind of like tantalize. One of them has Vial in a big sombrero singing her a song. And I was like, oh, fuck, I forgot he did that.
Great.
It's wild.
I forgot that. Dang.
Yeah. Vial has some crazy fucking plays. He has crazy plays in both of his seasons. Do you remember the mime thing?
I just
that
remember
they did
the
in Paris?
sad mime. Yeah.
Yeah, that shit. Like, he did some wild fucking play back in his rookie and sophomore seasons.
Yeah, I don't know if that sombrero thing will really hold up.
Totally holds up. No problems with it whatsoever. It's totally fine.
Speaking of things that will hold up forever, our next segment is our number 5 play goes to Emily and Haley Ferguson. Through their joint TikTok account, the sister exes of Ben Higgins shared a video in which they stand next to each other with a wall dividing them. They then listen to the prompts of an off-screen civilian, asking them to do various gestures to show off their twin telepathy, all to the Parent Trap soundtrack. The results are that they are conclusively telepathic, as are we all. 6.5K likes, 356.9K views.
That right now is a TikTok trend. A bunch of twins are doing this.
Great.
Yeah,
Lion Deck twins, get in there.
On it.
This makes me think the Lion Deck twins will never separate. That Emily and Haley still only have one account?
No, they don't.
Oh, wait. I don't know.
Sisters?
I don't know. But this is their joint account. So.
Oh, fuck. So they have their own individual ones and a joint. Smart.
I don't know. I assume they have individual ones too.
Yeah. Interesting. Our number 4 top 5 parasocial play of the week goes to the Dark Lord himself, DLP. The BIP and ABC accounts made a joint promotional reel starring the king of baking and girl dadding and darkness, in which he announces the premiere date, July 7th of BIP, and says he can't wait to see us back on the sand. The tagline, written in the sand graphic, reads, "Welcome back, beaches," as 2 seagulls fly impossibly fast over the words. Curiously, in the background, there appears to be possibly the hotel's internet lounge or a furniture store. 3.9K likes. DLP also posted a Musk photo of himself in a tank top, lifeguard tot, holding some sort of phone or juicer gizmo, which 100% of Gore also loved. I had this thing DM'd to me so many times, and literally, independently, many people said, "Why is he doing this from a furniture store?"
It is so odd. It is almost like a kidnapping video in the nondescript nature of all the furniture behind him. And there's like this, like, it looks like a thing that a PowerPoint presentation would be on, but it's like abstract art. I just assume this is some room in the hotel, but
probably,
it is fun to wonder
even
about.
Still, it's like, just go outside and get a palm tree or something behind him. Like, they're doing better with all the promotion for the season of BIP. Don't get me wrong. But it's these little things that I'm just like, what are you doing? Just don't have him stand in front of what looks like a furniture showroom.
At least it's not. Remember when they had him stand in front of what looked like the studio had been bombed out?
Yes, I do remember that.
For the dark finale.
Yep.
Well, we'll see. We're still early days. We're still testing stuff out.
That's true.
Our number 3 top play of the week goes to Claire Crawley.
Nice.
The Bachelorette blower-upper explained why she left Got to Get Out in an Instagram story. Under the Chiron Q&A Monday, tell us more about leaving Got to Get Out. Crawley wrote, well, there's the long and the short version. Short version is that I missed my little family more than the world. Being away from them was harder than I expected, especially with Rowan being so young. But the beautiful thing was, I used to like going to Bachelor shows because it gave me a vacation. And I realized I've built a life over the last few years that home with them is better than any vacation I could ask for. We are so happy that Crawley has found a family like that.
That was great. That was brilliant.
Thank you.
Also, that was the short version. I think the short version is just
I'm
the
out of
show
breath.
sucked. Right? Isn't it?
Oh.
Just like, I realized very quickly this show was fucking terrible and would give me no benefit from continuing to be on it.
And
So
I haven't watched it, but it doesn't sound like a vacation at all.
I mean, it was nothing.
Especially if the early days you had to stay up all night.
And it was only 8 days, I think they shot over. She left on like day 2. She was like, fuck this, I'm out of here. Anyways.
It's on brand.
Our number 2 top 5 parasocial play of the week goes to the Instagram queen of Bachelor Nation, Gore Girl Hannah Brown. The Sandbeast is back in the game and does not disappoint in the biggest parasocial audience of them all. First, she gives a behind-the-scenes look at BIP via an Instagram story showing off her sand tot, a white button top with her sacred name embroidered, tan cargo shorts, a gigantic heels. Then she continues giving via TikTok, giving a crib-style tour of her digs in Costa Rica. The caption reads, quote, wanted to give you all a little room tour before I started filming today. It was such an incredible first day. Umbrella in the sand emoji, hashtag Bachelor in Paradise, 13.8K likes, 234.2K views. Wells Adams posted a joint with BIP and DLP's account, a photo of him with DLP and the Beast in their work tots, 36.1K likes. And
it's just showing the competition is unfair already in the parasocial game.
Yes. And if you want to dig a little more into that competition, listen to our Digging Deeper that just came out yesterday. You can get that on our Patreon. We have a bunch of clips in there of Wells Adams talking about the threat he feels from Hannah Brown coming to take his job.
Pouring champagne or whatever she's doing.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what she's going to be doing, really, but whatever it is, I'm a bartender of this place. What's she doing? Champagne and a rose ceremony? No, I don't even know. How you need 2 bartenders? It's me. I'm the guy.
I'm going to get even less screen time.
Exactly. What are they going to do? They're going to make the show an extra 30 minutes to accommodate Hannah Brown because they're not taking my screen time.
The clips sound almost exactly like that.
If Wells Adams listening, it's all in jest. It's all in good fun. We love you, Wells Adams. You have ultimately contributed so much to this game, be it good or bad.
Our number 1. All of these were strong plays. However, there can only be one winner. Our top parasocial play of the week goes to Bachelorette Charity Lawson and her ring winner, Dotun Olubeko. This New York influenced Bachelor royalty couple celebrated their 2-year anniversary, which in Bachelor Nation is the equivalent of 25 years, with a few outstanding, chemistry-heavy parasocial plays. First, Lawson performs a sitting hooju around Dotun, kissing him on the cheek on the beach. Then Lawson shares a previously unseen excerpt from their post-engagement via Instagram Reel, a sweet karaoke moment where she sways in his arms singing Colby Kylie's Bubbly. The caption reads, just 2 people who said 3 magical words to each other after a very short time together. My protector, best friend, and future hubby. 2 whole years of loving you, and yet it feels like it's been an eternity, but also not, ? Right where I belong, forever loving you, at Dotun Olubeko. Happy anniversary, white heart emoji, swipe for a cute little video in our villa post-engagement. The pair also posted a joint Instagram reel commemorating the occasion by posting an Instagram reel of them performing boat and cuddle play on a beach set to Alex Warren's Ordinary, reflecting on the serendipitous last-minute casting events leading Dotun to join The Bachelorette. The overlay text reads, the butterfly effect is crazy because what do you mean if the guy who was originally cast for my spot on The Bachelorette never pulled up, and then my roommate being in the same group chat that was asking for a last-minute refill texted me asking if I wanted to go on The Bachelorette 2 weeks before filming, that I never would have met the love of my life, got engaged on national TV, and be here now celebrating our 2-year anniversary. 18K likes, 331,000 views.
Damn. I'm happy for them.
The photo is so sexy. It is astounding.
I haven't looked at
It is
this.
gorgeous.
What are the 3 magic words that she
I
writes?
thought that was I love you.
Oh, yeah, that is what it is. How could I not know that? I thought it was I do. And I was just like, that's only 2 words. What is she talking about? But you're 100% right. Okay. Anywho, let's.
Love Level 4, heard of her?
Yeah.
They didn't get married, dude.
I literally just gave a 1-hour presentation on this. We also have to talk about a creature, or creatures as it were, this week. The Parasocial Creature of the Week goes to a bunch of pachyderms, those baby elephants that were visited by Rachel Recchia and Blake Moynes. I don't know if you guys have been watching this. Rachel Recchia is out visiting Blake Moynes at this, it's like a baby elephant orphanage, basically. And she makes a huge carousel of pictures of her feeding the elephants with their milk, the little baby elephants running around. Blake Moynes is cuddling a baby elephant in this carousel. All these elephants get our Parasocial Creature of the Week. But more importantly, what the fuck's going on here? They're rumored to have been on Perfect Match Season 3, which is going to air a little bit later this year.
I mean,
are they together? What's happening?
Hardship. This seems, you got to look at these photos for yourself. I don't see, this seems like a very intimate out there trip to be doing with someone who's not your paramour.
Totally agree.
The elephants are in Mon, where young elephants, many rescued from poaching or human wildlife conflict, are being rehabilitated for eventual reintroduction into the wild. Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know. They became friends, right, on VIP?
I'll tell you how many times I've gone to a elephant orphanage in Africa with a friend. 0.
Yeah. It's a far way to go, I think. She is a pilot, so
yeah. But anytime you're going,
around.
It's different because they're influencers. They're in Bachelor Nation. It is a little different. They could be looking at this like, "Hey, come out. We'll make some good parasocial plays out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Experience of a lifetime." There is that component to it. I get that, but it's like you also know you're doing something to the fourth audience. When you post pictures of this shit, you're at least floating the idea that there might be a romantic happening here, I don't know.
And this is not just the only post. She is posting a ton of things. It looks like there's a few other friends there, but they know what they're doing.
Are they, let's say they are on Perfect Match, and let's say they do wind up together at the end of it. Are they contractually obligated to never mention that they're romantically linked until that season airs? They might be.
Maybe Netflix doesn't care.
Well, I think that's probably true just based on this. If they are together and they're posting all the shit and not saying formally we're together, but still here's us co-parenting a baby elephant, they're putting the idea out there. You know what I mean? We can read between the lines. Any hoozle.
But I think, honestly, I'm okay with that. I think that's good promotion for Perfect Match. Okay, so how do they end up together?
Of course. I agree 100%. But those are all the parasocial plays.
Interesting.
For this week.
Interesting.
Congratulations to all the winners.
I ship, but I also want him to do The Bachelor for you. So
yeah, thank you.
Speaking of,
I would consider this a strange win, though. Yes, he doesn't get to wear the crown, but he's now with a ring winner.
With a 4th crown.
Right. Or not a ring winner, a crown wearer. He's crowned by... Oh my God, you're right.
4th, Claire Crawley, Tayshia Adams, Katie Thurston.
And then Rachel Recchia. What the hell? That in itself is something. We got to figure out a name for that.
I know.
A crown hunter.
The rings of Blake Moynes. The crown hunter.
It's something like that, right?
Yeah. He's a
crown whisperer. I don't know what you want to call it,
yeah,
but he only dates crowns. That's insane. All right.
It is. But also,
Yeah.
if they are, can we just talk 1 second about Kelsey Anderson?
Yeah.
I've been thinking a lot about you saying that there were little birdies saying there was trouble in paradise.
Yeah.
I think she would be, when we're not having a bachelorette this season.
Mm-hmm.
I think it gives you a great opportunity to go for stunt casting for next bachelorette. I think if they do break up, she would be amazing and they should pick her.
100%.
Like that season would be so good. If we can't get Zendaya, Kelsey Anderson.
Kelsey Anderson, if you're listening to this and on the horizon may or may not be a breakup in your future, but if it's looking like it might be, time it correctly so that you can, at least in the minds of the fourth audience, have enough time to heal and be ready for love. Get cast next year as the Bachelorette. You'll be shooting your season of Bachelorette, season 22. It would be roughly around now, and then it would air in a couple of months. So you have some time to get this done. Lay the groundwork. I think you would need to pull the trigger on this in the next 4 to 5 months. You would need to make it very public. If you can victimize yourself in the process, you should do that. If not, an amicable didn't work out, blah, 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 that would be fine too. But you need to do it in the next 4 to 6 months at the latest, I think, and give the fourth audience enough time to sit with this. Give us some parasocial play that shows you back on the horse.
Uneven greater stain on love.
You're a phoenix risen. You're ready to find your person now. And by the way, you know the process works because you did love Joey. It's all right there for you.
I'm picturing, like, you know how in like a Victoria's Secret runway shoot they have like wings or whatever. I'm picturing butterfly, but phoenix rising from the ashes, like a butterfly on fire with flames or something.
That would be a great promo. Is she is dressed in that Heidi Klum worm like larva suit, and then
that is one of my favorite pictures that has ever existed.
I 100% agree. She spins a cocoon around herself and then she emerges from it and she's like slimy, but then dries out in her wings.
Chad, that is so perfect because she's also like goofy. And that's why I think, you know, she does both the 4TRR and the free spirit comboed into one.
Yeah. We want to see the Kelsey Anderson pupa phase promo for her season of The Bachelorette.
I thought you said pupa phase.
No, pupa. Isn't it larva pupa? And then it becomes a larva pupa chrysalis butterfly. We want to see Kelsey Anderson as a pupa in this fucking promo for Bachelorette season 22.
That's how you roll it out.
Yeah.
It's first in the pupa and you don't know who it is.
Exactly. Who's the pupa? It's like the Masked Singer.
I don't know why we weren't invited to VIP.
Yeah, what are you doing, guys?
We have great ideas.
Listen, you've never done a pupa promo in the history of this show.
Well, I don't think pupa's something to think about, Scott Teddy, as you're casting next season.
Let's move on to our final portion of this program where PaceCase and I delve deep into the bottom of the pit, become pupas, and emerge as screams. This is...
Screams from the pit!
All right, PaceCase, what kind of scream you got this week?
So I went to my sister's wedding this weekend, my mini move. It was in San Francisco. It was so much fun. Oh my God, I literally think it's the best wedding after party I've ever been to. They had this punk rock band called
Green Day.
Garth, which stands for, well, now I have to find it.
Garth Algar.
Gulch Alley Rat Parade. They're in San Francisco.
Okay.
Check them out. They performed a bunch of like covers of all of the songs that my sister and Tyler love. They were amazing. But this is not the point of my scream. A man came up to me, a man who was speaking in the wedding, you know, one of the BFFs of the groom, and his name was Sam. And he told me that his sister is deep in the pit and loves the show. And this is a shout out to that sister. We took a photo and sent it to you. But But thank you for listening. And Game of Roses does not stop touching every single part of my life.
Yeah. That's my scream is I won't say it's exactly similar, but it's similar in that I was recognized by somebody. This happened to me twice, actually, when I was in the airport, both leaving LA to do my mini move to Chicago and when I was in Chicago to do my mini move back to my home in Los Angeles.
What? Can't even go in an airport.
What's that?
Can't even go in an airport anymore.
I know.
Gotta start flying private.
In each case, it was a guy walked up to me and said, "Excuse me, I love your podcast." And I was like, because I was going to do this presentation at DePaul, and just because whenever that happens, it's rare that it does, but it happens from time to time. When it does, it's always about Game of Roses. I think nothing else. It's happened to me a couple of times for Dudesy as well, but still I think like, oh, it's Game of Roses. So this guy comes up to me in the airport, is like, "Excuse me, I love your podcast." And I was like, "Oh, thanks. What's your favorite season?" And he was like, "Huh?" And I was like, "Of The Bachelor." And he's like, "What? Do you do a podcast with your parents?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, that podcast." I fucking literally like
he was unnecessary.
Yeah, exactly. That podcast, by the way, has like our TikTok is like kind of blowing up a little bit. We've got about 60K followers now. Getting
you have
some
so many followers on Instagram
things
too now.
But
please don't leave us. Don't leave Gore.
I can't. I'm a part of the pit.
What do you call them? The Nest Convos? The conversationalists? What do you call the fans?
Oh, my mom calls
Patriots?
Patriots, yeah, I think. We don't really have that podcast is like I literally just record it, edit it, and put it out. I don't like deal with anything else. That's as much as I can handle per week.
It's a lot to handle.
Yeah. But I in my head, I'm just like, there is no other thing I do other than talk about The Bachelor. And even now people are like coming up to me and saying like, "I love this other thing you do." And I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about? You mean Bachelor, right?" My head has been so rewired.
Statistically bigger at this point.
Yeah,
on
it is at
media.
this point. Yeah. But to me, that was just like two funny moments happened. And in each case, my initial reaction was like, "Oh, this must be about Bachelor and Game of Roses." And in both cases, it was not. But still, to me, that's I'm always just in the pit. Period.
Love that.
And also, I guess my scream is like, Gore made it to legit academia. I just did an hour-long presentation about The Bachelor as a sport in the same room where Emily Nussbaum, who I think has won a Pulitzer, gave a presentation on reality TV. Like, what? That's insane. In my opinion, that we started this podcast 6 years ago, smoking weed on my couch with somebody who's now a legitimate doctor. I always find that funny too. Think about like, oh yeah, Erica was like sitting there doing her bullet journal, eating her pizza while we're getting high and fucking rambling on about the sport of The Bachelor. She's now like a legitimate doctor saving lives. And we're still doing this.
She's going into pediatric oncology.
Yeah.
Baby cancer.
It's wild. Yeah. Nothing more noble than what we do.
It's
not
great.
What she does.
My speech included The Bachelor, and I followed a woman who has won 2 Pulitzer Prizes for journalism. But I was the closer. Talking about crying, doing the hyperbinge.
That's a weird scream too. That's like a weird mirror experience this weekend. Oh
full
shit!
Of screams.
All right. PaceCase and I are not the only ones doing screams. If you listen to this podcast with some regularity, you know that if you're in our Patreon, you get access to a Discord where you can submit your own screams in a channel called Screams from the Pit. Today, we are going to be playing one for you. Are you ready, PaceCase?
I'm ready.
Here we go.
Greetings from a dry day in the Northeast Pit. My scream is that last month, my gyno recommended that I get a mammogram, even though I'm only 36, to get a baseline. I went for the ultrasound on Monday, and while the very lovely tech was rubbing the gel and sensor all over my chest to get lots of pictures, we chatted about the Bachelor franchise because she told me she is seeing lots of women get cancer younger. So I asked her about Katie Thurston. We were both obviously so upset about her diagnosis, as I know the entire pit is, and wishing her well. I got the call this morning on my way to work that I do have a teeny tiny mass that is most likely not cancer, only like 2% likelihood of cancer. So they will follow that. But I just want to take this time to wish Katie well, thank her for sharing her story. It is so freaking important Thank you for being a light in the dark, dark pit. I love you all. Please get your preventative colonoscopies, mammograms, everything, because this world is crazy. Love you.
There you have it.
Dang.
Can't agree more with this screamer. And I think, like, if you follow Katie Thurston, she does a little thing called the Booby Broadcast, where she is, I mean, day by day, taking you through everything she's doing in service of getting treatment, talking to doctors, how it's affecting her mental health, how it's affecting her physical health.
What they're messing up.
All of it. I think that document that she's putting together, I don't know if there's like a book to come out of that or something eventually, but like it's a incredibly important just piece of media in terms of like, if you have to go through anything like this, it's all right there in a step-by-step, day-by-day reaccounting of everything she's going through, the good and the bad. I guess there's no good in it really. There is good though when you go through this kind of shit. I went through some cancer treatment. You do come out of it, I think, a stronger person. You know a lot more about the whole medical system, but I can't agree with the screamer more.
Appreciate life. No.
I don't know when this switch happened in me where I kind of like started to really feel like this is not real. And I'm just like, you know what I mean?
Sorry for asking.
Yeah. I got asked at DePaul, we had some conversations about necessary conversation. And I was asked, you know, how do you deal with this? How do you deal with your parents being like this and maintaining a relationship and all this? And I was like, well, I just don't think any of it's real.
It's a good answer to any question.
Anything that's bad. Yeah. Like anything from just getting older and like, oh, my back hurts when I get up in the morning and I got to do some stretching and shit. And I know that's going to continue to get worse as this machine that I'm in breaks down with wear and tear. Like I really just view the human body as a car, and you have like problems with it that you got to take care of from time to time. You know, cancer can be one of them. But I agree with this scream here that it's like when the Bachelor world can kind of reach into your life and give you some reason to change what you're doing or to seek some kind of medical advice or whatever. It's a weird thing that you don't really ever expect to come from just like what many people perceive to be a frivolous reality TV show, a guilty pleasure. But it's like the culture of it. When you feel invested in these people's lives, you have parasocial relationships with them, and they're going through some kind of crazy thing that makes you think like, well, wait a minute, should I get that checked? Should I?
Definitely.
Could this happen to me? It's
I never like, I mean, Katie Thurston's, her logs should be in Parasocial Plays like every week, because they are so good. And like, I am learning, and like, I didn't know doctors might mess up and be like, yeah, you need chemo, go get ready for chemo. And then, oh wait, never mind. Like, you're like, okay, you just assume if a doctor tells you need chemo that you should get chemo.
They did it to me too. And then I had to research all this shit. And I was like, well, the drug that this guy's prescribing me doesn't even, there is no evidence that it even has any effect on the type of cancer I have. And so I was like, well, why is he fucking recommending it? And it's because that doctor, that's what that doctor does. They prescribe
kickbacks,
chemotherapy, and the radiation guy prescribes radiation, and the surgery guy prescribes surgery. That's like what they do. And so you have to kind of take it upon yourself to do the research and be like, well, wait a minute, is this going to be good or bad? Some of the side effects of the drug that they prescribed me for chemotherapy were, in quotes, permanent deafness, permanent loss of feeling in your fingers. I'm like, well, that's going to make everything more difficult in my life. Do I really need this?
Fingers and ears.
Yeah, exactly. Do I need to hear anymore or feel things? You know, I did my own research and came to my own conclusions, which is ultimately what you have to do in any of these big, like life-changing medical procedure type things. You have to, you're your own advocate. Nobody else is going to do it for you. And I think Katie's posts like really hammer that home more than anything.
I have a couple B lumps that I have gotten ultrasounds and mammograms for like every 6 months for probably like 5 years, pretty much. All fine right now. And, but it is like extremely scary. And I know I have talked about The Bachelor in these, in these doctor's appointments. Of course, sure. It's all that's in my brain. Yeah. American Cancer Society suggests women aged 40 to 44 have the option to start annual screenings, recommends annual screenings for those aged 45 to 54, and allows women 55 and older to choose between annual or biennial screenings. And I have my own theories of like what what kind of birth control pills perhaps might be contributing to some of this stuff. So, yeah.
I think
it's scary.
The biggest single contributor, I think, like all kinds of cancers are becoming more prevalent and happening in people younger and younger now. Breast and colon are like the two biggest ones that doctors are seeing in higher frequencies in younger people. And I think that, yes, you're probably right about some of your theories about different birth controls and whatever. But I think
this is just allegedly just based on my own guesses. I have no research, just FYI, but
like things that alter hormones are like, there has to be some kind of detrimental effect, at least in a statistically measurable percent of the population, I think. But microplastics seem to be the biggest single contributors to this. And it's like, as time goes on, there are more and more of them. They're in everything we eat, breathe, drink, whatever. And they can have severely detrimental effects to your mitochondrial DNA, which is ultimately what starts to create cancer when cells don't replicate properly.
I just saw something on Instagram about like non-scratch pans. If they scratch once, release like a ton of shit.
Yeah.
Okay, here's what they say about colonoscopies. Recommend adults at average risk start regular colorectal cancer screening at age 45.
I had mine.
Great.
And I also talked about Bachelor in that process with the nurse who was putting IVs in me because I was like, I hate needles. I think this was one of my screams around the time that I did it.
Probably.
Yeah. And I was like, oh God, I can't stand needles. And she's like, it's going to be okay. I'll put the thing, do you want it in your arm or in your hand? And I was like, put it in the hand. I can deal with that better. And she was like, I can stay. I'll talk to you for the next like 10 minutes until we wheel you back to have the thing or whatever. What do you want to talk about? And I was like, do you watch The Bachelor? And meanwhile, in my head, I'm just like, this poor fucking woman is like, I don't know how many times she does this a day, but it's like her job is to put a needle in my hand and then at some point, probably jam some camera device up my butthole. That's this woman's job. And now I've got her talking about a show she doesn't even watch or give a fuck about. I felt so bad for her.
But for her doing that is just like for you watching just a regular episode of The Bachelor. It's a Monday night classic thing. Just think of it that way.
Yeah, she loves it. She's completely obsessed with it.
By the way, this is another scream. We got the Uber ride back from the airport last night, and my paramour and the driver were talking insane, intense basketball statistics and trade stuff the entire time. Like literally both so deep in the weeds in that. And I was so silent for the whole thing. I was just like playing my Switch. And then at the end, I just like kept thinking of being like, of saying like, oh, so do you watch The Bachelor? Like as we're getting out.
I'm telling you, you don't even have to do that shit. I used to do this to my buddies with D&D when they would be throwing around insane football statistics. I would just throw out like, well, Caitlin Bristow has the best rose quotient we've ever seen at a 0.47. Yeah, we're not going to see something like that again. I mean, she got so many, this one-on-one date, this group date rose, and it's just, it's a once in a lifetime type of talent. I think she's like generationally a person who changed the game. If you just go into it like that, as though you're talking about the same thing, but talk about Bachelor players, the looks on their faces are priceless. They're like, what the fuck is going on?
I should have done it. I was too cowardly.
I understand.
He wanted
Congrats,
to kidnap
by the way, to him.
Jake and be like, oh, can I just drive your husband around?
Yeah, talk
while
basketball.
I do my job. Yeah.
I hated that.
It was cute, but it reminded me of, me about reality.
I understand. Your paramour's team beat the LA Lakers and LeBron James and Luka Doncic. I feel so bad about that.
That's what started it.
Congrats to Jake, I guess. Anyways,
look, I married into a Timberwolves fandom, so go Timberwolves.
You don't like the Lakers?
I mean, that's who I'll root for second, but if the Lakers lose,
they play each other.
It doesn't change the emotional tenor of our household.
That's all you care about. Keep Jake happy at all costs, please. Timberwolves win the whole thing.
True love. Support at any cost.
Sure. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for this week in Bachelor Nation. We will be back on Thursday with a recap of Survivor, and I believe, I'm not positive, but I believe we might have a very special guest joining us to do that recap. So we hope you'll join us for it.
I can't even handle who this guest might be. I'm going to lose my mind.
We'll see. Hopefully it will come true.
I'm going to be fangirling. You'll see me. I won't even talk.
But check that out and check out our continued coverage of Battle Camp in Casa Gore, which will be concluding sometime this week. And then we're going to start next week, Hannah Brown, season 15 of The Bachelorette.
Who do you think wins? You haven't been spoiled, right?
Oh, on Battle Camp. I thought you were talking about Hannah Brown season. I'm like, Jed Wyatt, what? I don't know about Battle Camp. I don't know. I haven't been spoiled on it either. I've been very good at Ghost Protocol. I hope Lorenzo.
I hope Lorenzo and Georgia together.
Yeah, they'd be great. We will see.
Praise be Dark Lord Palmer.
Please rate this podcast. Please review this podcast. Please get a friend to listen to us, and then please rate this podcast. Please review this podcast.